Hey guys, I'm Dr. Dwayne Estes, Executive Director of the Southeastern Grasslands Initiative. Today I'm in Crab Orchard, Tennessee, here on the Cumberland Plateau between Knoxville and Crossville. And I wanted to stop because this is a really cool area that has some great significance, both culturally and from a natural history perspective. Oftentimes when folks are driving on the interstate, as you can see off in the distance, that's I-40, you know, a lot of times we'll stop and maybe get off at an interstate exit and visit a little gas station or something. How many times do we pass by those areas and just not even think about what was here 200 years ago or even 100 years ago or 3,000 years ago? Well, this is one of those cool places where there's a really neat story to be told. In 1853, James Ramsay, who was one of the state's early historians, wrote, "The top of the mountain was covered then, or is described then, as a vast upland prairie with a luxuriant growth of native grasses, pastured over for as far as the eye could see, with numerous herds of deer, elk, and buffalo, gambling in playful security over these secluded plains." And he was talking about this upland plain here at the top of the Cumberland Plateau, nestled among the hills of the Crab Orchard Mountains that you see behind me. These are some of the mountains here. The Crab Orchards reach up over 3,000 feet, with Black Mountain being the highest here locally. So today, though, I'm standing in an old cemetery that includes a lot of folks who were alive during the Civil War. We have a large rock quarry that cuts into the mountain behind us where they're mining out the limestone. As a result, we've got sort of a rock company here that sells the rocks. We have the interstate and several cattle farms in the distance. We have an interstate exit. We have a trash convenience center, and then just beyond that is a gas station at the little town of Crab Orchard. All this activity, and there is nothing here to remind us of those historical grasslands that Ramsay described. And I think another thing is that I'd really like to find a way for us to connect that lost natural history to the cultural history. These people who are buried here in the cemetery, when they moved here, this would have still been shortleaf pine, post oak savannas. That's a story that has never been told, and it's not being told from a historical perspective, and it's extremely important to our cultural history. Likewise, it's extremely important to the Cherokee Nation and other Indian nations who called this part of their ancestral homeland. For example, when we look back in this pass, that was one of the original routes that the Native Americans would take to get across the Cumberland Plateau to the area where Nashville is now. And that was in about 1799 or 1800, was opened up by white settlers as the Walton Road. And that really then became US Highway 70 that connects all the way across much of the eastern United States. And so today, I-40 runs across part of that same route. So a lot of our earliest paths that would have been Indian trails or bison traces became the first highways, which then later became US highways. In some cases, they became our interstates. Why do we not have historical markers on the sides of the interstates at rest areas or rest stations that tell us about this? It's a part of our history that we need to know more about, and our kids need to know more about. So the next time you stop to get a drink at a convenience station or to use the restroom at a rest area, wouldn't it be cool to actually know something about the local history of where you're stopping and passing through? And how cool would it be if we learned not just about the people who were important and the places, the cultural elements, but if we connected that to what the landscape was like and what the biodiversity was like, because we have a real opportunity to tell that story in a combined way. So lastly, one of the goals of the Southeastern Grasslands Initiative is to find ways to partner with historical societies and historians and departments of transportation so that we can begin telling that story across our 23-state focal region. If you like this and you like this idea, let us know about it. Please like, follow, and share us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thank you.